Good morning, staff of Clark Creek Elementary. It is Samantha Wasdin. I just want to take a moment and discuss some of the current data that we have regarding our students here at Clark Creek Elementary. First, I want to ask you to think for just a moment about what should be our focus for the next curriculum rollout. I'm going to play a very short video for you here regarding our last curriculum rollout. So we are also going to look at the data to see how effective this curriculum rollout is and what should be our next step. Okay, Clark Creek, with that question in mind, let's take just a minute to kind of review what we know here about our students at Clark Creek. One of the things that I think we're very proud of is the improved CCRPI score that we've had. We have seen a significant increase over the last 3 years, and if you look, we are significantly higher than the 76% average for the state of Georgia, as we are currently at 87% here. The number of students here at Clark Creek has increased quite a bit over the last 4 years. We are now at 1,302 students. You can also see that our gender profile is almost 50-50. However, our male population does hold just a slight lead over our female population. Our race and ethnicity percentiles tend to be very stable. Our white students are the majority at about 50%, but over the last couple of years, we have seen an increase in our African American students as well as our Asian students. We have also seen a decrease in our ELL students and our Hispanic population by about 2%. Clark Creek is considered a Title I school. The reason that we're a Title I school is because 46% of our students are currently on free and reduced lunch. According to our data, we have about 10% of our population considered students with disabilities. That includes 3 self-contained AU classrooms, along with our SID-PID self-contained classroom as well. One of the things that is a struggle here at Clark Creek is attendance. About half of the student population misses more than 5 instructional days a year. You can see that trend is pretty steady. Here at Clark Creek, the staff is overwhelmingly white females, with most of the staff having about 10 years of experience between them. So according to our state, you can see that the level of distinguished learners and proficient learners has increased over the last 4 years for the overall state of Georgia. Doesn't seem to matter what subject, whether it is science, social studies, math, or English, the number of distinguished learners is steadily increasing. That trend continued into Cherokee County with an increase in proficient and distinguished learners across all grade levels. Clark Creek also follows the trend with increasing scores in proficient and distinguished learners. You can see that significant gains, meaning greater than their peers across all of Georgia, in distinguished learners in all areas except our English language arts. We seem to be lacking in that area. As a matter of fact, we have maintained only 11% distinguished learners in English language arts for the past 3 years. Math saw a 12% increase in distinguished learners. Science has seen an 8% increase in distinguished learners, while social studies actually saw the greatest gains at 13% in 4 years for their distinguished learners. So if you look at this, English language arts is only 2% higher in 4 years and the same over the last 3 years. It's actually the same as Georgia and only slightly higher than Cherokee County at 9% distinguished learners. You can see that our trend with math, science, and social studies are doing very, very well in comparison to Cherokee County and Georgia. One of the things that also should be noted with our data is that 57% of our third graders are reading at or above grade level compared to only 48% of their Georgia peers. And 70% of our fifth graders are reading at or above grade level compared to 60% of fifth graders across the state of Georgia. So that's also an increase in 13% from third grade to fifth grade for our on or above grade level reading. So here's a real quick data summary of what I have just presented to you. One of the things that stood out for me as I was looking over the data for the last 4 years is certainly that our CCRPI score has increased significantly. I think that's something worth celebrating. Also, the growth that we've had in math, science, and social studies that saw a significant difference in the distinguished learners. An area that I did mention while I was going over the data is the 11% ELA distinguished learners. That is the same score for the past 3 years. And it's also the same as their Georgia peers, which means we're not making the growth there that we should. So based on what I know about our classrooms and the curriculum that we have here at Clark Creek, I can infer that our engineering design process and problem-based learning are reflective in our math and science scores. Those proficient and distinguished learners are certainly standing out there. That we have integrated our social studies and English language arts units together. I certainly think that's advantageous to our 3rd and 5th graders, according to the milestones. And with the increase in on or above reading levels for 3rd and 5th grade, but not seeing the same reflection for those ELA milestone scores, I have come to the conclusion that the balanced literacy adoption isn't working. So despite writing across the curriculum, our ELA milestone scores are not improving. What I would recommend based on the data is that we adopt a writing and grammar curriculum to improve those proficient and distinguished scores. So I of course want to know, do you agree with my inferences and recommendations based on the data that's been presented? Do you think that a lack of distinguished learners in English language arts is a grammar or writing content issue? What are your thoughts regarding balanced literacy and the rigorous curriculum design that has been implemented over the past 3 years? And what writing curriculum do you use in your classroom, and have you seen it to be beneficial at all? And how could writing and grammar instruction possibly be implemented with our English language arts block as full as it is? And again, as always, I'm open to any suggestions or if you have any concerns.